We'll be quickly starting with the next session, and next session is a very insightful session where we have two panelists and moderators. One of the panelists is CA Chintan Bhai. CA Chintan Bhai is a CFO of Kaka Industries. Kaka is a very prominent name. They brought SME IPO. Now it is already a 6x, 7x from the IPO price. So let us understand his journey from how he has started his IPO journey and how he has come till far. And the other panelist is CS Richie Bhai. He is a category 1 merchant banker, SEBI registered. We can have all the knowledge of AIF IPO from him, and would request the panelists and the moderators to please come on the dais. Samir Bhai, if you can please escort.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Adarsh Devra, CA. So now I welcome all the faculties on stage for the next session, which is on IPO, fundraising, AIFs, and primary markets. I now ask CA Chetan Jagatia and CA Samir Chaudhary to felicitate our today's faculties. Yeah, so by the time mementos come, I'll introduce the faculties again. Yeah, so we have Mr. Richie Shah. He is a capital market veteran. He has over 10 years of work experience. He is the founder and director of Rare Ever Financial Advisors. Rare Ever Financial Advisors is a SEBI registered category 1 merchant banker. Richie is a fellow company secretary, bachelor's in law, and alumni of IIM Kozhikode. He has extensive experience in leading transactions across capital market products, sectors, and geographies. He has led and completed various transactions in the capital market, including IPOs, OFS, rights issue, open offers, preferential placements, secondary market placements, private equity, and merger and acquisition transactions. So he is the go-to person for all these capital market transaction executions. Next, we also have Mr. CA Chintan Bodhar. Please give a round of applause welcoming him. Sir CA Chintan Bodhar is a chartered accountant qualified in 2010 at the age of 21. After completing CA, he worked with Grant Thornton in statutory audit department, gaining vast experience in diverse audit fields. Then he moved to Monte Carlo Limited and gained experience in direct tax and indirect tax. Then he moved to Kandla International Container Terminal, where he played vital role in setting up terminal operating system and SAP module. Currently, he is the CFO of Kaka Industries Limited, which is a listed SME company having a market cap of around 400 crore, and he has played a key role in coming up with the IPO of this SME company, and currently serving as CFO. So please welcome both our faculties, and let's try to learn from them as much as possible today.
Friends, also join hands. The man behind the whole conference, Chetan Jagatia. Let me take an opportunity with others to felicitate him. Good evening, friends. From direct tax to now talking about IPO and AIF, we all know. And as Chetan said, that one company from BSc SME IPO, within 18 months, it has given 6x return to people. In the past, we know about Astral from Ahmedabad. But now we can say it's not only Astral, it's also Kaka Industries. And we have a person who have seen all the things for that company. Let me take an opportunity to ask Chintan Bhai. Sir, what were the biggest challenges Kaka Industries faced during the IPO process? And how did you as a CFO and also as a CA help overcome that?
Good afternoon. Kaka, being a SME company, first जो दिमाग में आता है वो readiness of promoter. अब promoter को as a CA, as a CFO, we have to guide them, or we have to explain the benefits of listing. So value unlocking है, brand image एक बनता है, transparency business में आता है. So ये difficult task था कि IPO के लिए ready करना, और उसके बाद टीम की readiness होनी, because you will see कि एक SME कंपनी जब लिस्टिंग करती है तो टीम रेडी होती नहीं है. तो आपको एज अ CFO आपको टीम रेडी करने के लिए इंटरनल कंट्रोल्स, आप सिस्टम्स बना सकते हो, और जैसे वही टीम के साथ आपको एजुकेट करके उसको गाइड करके आप आगे बढ़ सकते हैं. देन आई विल गो थ्रू दी होल प्रोसेस. मतलब आप मर्चेंट बैंकर सिलेक्ट करना है आपको, वहाँ पे आप प्रमोटर को गाइड कर सकते हो उसका ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड के साथ, और उनका ब्रांड इमेज मार्केट में क्या है. उसके बाद IPO साइज़ क्या रहेगा, आप ये फंड का ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या रहेगा. तो इसमें एज अ CFO आप हेल्प कर सकते हैं कि क्या उनका ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है. तो ऑब्जेक्टिव आप प्रॉपर डिफाइन करके आप यू हैव टू स्टिक विद द ऑब्जेक्टिव आफ्टर IPO ऑल्सो, बिकॉज यू कैन नॉट use that fund other than the objective of the IPO. Then पूरी मतलब जब DRHP बनेगा तो DRHP बनाने के लिए आपको हर एक एग्रीमेंट, हर एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बनाने रहेंगे. जो काका का हमारा मेन पर्पस था IPO लिस्टिंग का, वो था ब्रांड इमेज. बिकॉज हमारा प्रोडक्ट है B2C, वी हैव टू because we thought कि we have to reach the pan India. एक ये जरिया हो सकता है ये कि IPO लिस्टिंग के थ्रू हम पैन इंडिया पहुंच सकते हैं. तो हमने एक ब्रांड इमेज बनाने के लिए हमने IPO का हमारा मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव था. मतलब ये वो राइट हमने कहीं लिखा नहीं था, बट अल्टीमेटली फंड भी आया और फंड से हमने ग्रोथ भी किया. बट B2C प्रोडक्ट में आप ये ब्रांड इमेज का एक यूज़ कर सकते हैं. देन बोर्ड कंपोजिशन, उसमें आप हेल्प कर सकते हो प्रमोटर को, क्योंकि एक क्राइटेरिया रहता है कि वैसे ही आपका बोर्ड रहेगा, जैसे 2 इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर, वुमन डायरेक्टर. तो ये सारा जो बोर्ड कंपोजिशन रहेगा उसमें आप एज अ CFO हेल्प कर सकते हैं. सो यस.
Yeah. So these were the in-house challenges inside a company wherein a CFO can help the promoter make decisions. So like moving on further, like if we ask from the outside perspective, like if a company now say CFO and the team of the company has decided so and so are the benefits of the IPO, like it will help them in improving the brand image, and also the new funds can lead to higher scaling of the company. So from the merchant banking point of view, if we ask you, Richi bhai, what, like now we have to meet the merchant banker and he will be the guiding person for the IPO. So Richi bhai, if you can guide, like what are the outside challenges which you make the promoters of the company aware, like these are the challenges with the IPO, what you are planning?
Good afternoon, members. As a merchant banker, whenever we meet the promoters, so there are few parameters which we always look for from a company. So we always see the promoters, that who as a person he is. So for the first 1 or 2 meetings, our goal is to know the promoter, that how the promoter behaves, how the promoter reacts when we discuss about the new funds incoming. So that is the first part. We try to know the promoters. Second is we will look after the financial performance, but never we can judge the actual performance from the books. So we try to meet their vendors and customers indirectly by taking some samples, that how legible or how legally the books which are presented are proper. That is the second parameter which we always look for. Third is that how, like what are the uses of funds which is being, as Chintan Bhai said that we had some goals post the IPO. So we always look after that. If the company is using the funds just to repay their old debts or just to use as a working capital, then I don't think that they need the funds at this point of time. So we always look for that the company should make some capex, should bring in some new development, and their manufacturing capacity should increase. We also try to avoid, like as a parameter, we always look that the company should not be in a trading, should be a trading company only, preferably either into some marquee or specialty software development, or otherwise it should be in a manufacturing. So because what happens from our side is, when we go to the exchange or SEBI, it is always looked as that the company is wrong. The SEBI's perspective is to find the faults in our documents. So they would always ask us that, okay, then how did you complete your diligence on this section or this part? So we try to find the parameters, and apart from this, we also try to see that how the promoter is genuine, in the sense that what kind of dilution he is planning in the IPO. If he is diluting, or if he is giving away his major of his stake in the IPO or post IPO, or if he is planning to give his stake post IPO in the secondary market, then this would create a negative impression altogether with the authorities as well as the investors. So these are the parameters we internally try to look for a company who is coming with an IPO.
So basically the company's inside team and the merchant banking team, they both work together in bringing the IPO. The team inside company's team, they make the plan. And when they discuss with the merchant banker, it is the role of the merchant banker to validate and scrutinize their plans. Are you planning in the right manner? Are you even eligible to come with the IPO? Are your books actually showing the true picture or not? And can they actually represent the company to SEBI? Can they actually take this company to SEBI and ask for the IPO approval? So that diligence is done by the merchant banker, and again, they come back to the company with their views and everything. Okay. And again, we have another topic which is related to AIFs. And I see nowadays a lot of interest coming in the AIF industry. So I would request Richie Bhai to make our audience aware of, from the basics. Let's start from the basics. Like, what is AIF? What category is it? From an investor point of view, what are the types of AIF? What are the 3 categories of AIF which are available? And how a AIF is structured? And then we can take it further from there.
Sure. So let me just put it this way. AIF is, to say, a private version of mutual funds. So what happens is, so I'll float the basic idea and then move to the whole structure, how AIF is structured and how it functions. So basically what happens is, there are like in mutual funds, what we generally do is we park our retail money, say 50,000, 1 lakh rupees, and the fund manager is the one who accumulates the whole corpus and invests on our behalf and manages the fund. So same thing happens in AIF, is that there is a professional fund manager, an investment manager, who accumulates funds from the HNIs and big investors. After accumulation, he brings in the corpus and manages the money. So this is all about AIF. So this is the basic idea of AIF. So AIF is not for retail investors. It is for HNIs, where the minimum ticket size for investment is 1 crore rupees. Okay. So I'll now take up the structure of AIF. So basically there are 4 intermediaries involved in incorporation of AIF. There is a sponsor, to say a promoter, who floats or who envisions the idea that which theme of investments he prefers. Like if he prefers SM investments, he prefers startup investments, he prefers investment in debt securities. So he is the sponsor who is promoting the whole idea. There is an investment manager who acts as a board of directors, who will manage the routine operations, who will find the target companies where to invest, how much to invest and when to exit. There is a trustee who will look after the safety of funds of the investor, like IDBI, Midcon. These are the trusteeship companies, Axis Cap. So these companies act as a trustee to the funds, and of course there is an investor. So these 4 intermediaries come together to form an AIF. Now coming to the structure, So AIF can be formed in as a private company, as an LLP, or as a trust. But there are roughly 1400 AIFs right now in India, and 95% of the AIFs are registered as a trust. The basic idea to register as a trust is the incorporation is very easy, cost effective, and there is a lot of confidentiality involved, because in company what happens is we need to disclose each and everything, list of shareholders and everything every periodically to MCA, and which is a public database. So in trust, the data of investors and everyone remains very confidential. So it is preferable to incorporate it as a trust, while the investment manager can be an LLP or a company. Even the sponsor can be LLP or a company. So this is about the structure. Now we come to the category. So there are 3 broad categories in AIF. Category 1 is for investing in small or like startup companies. So basically venture capital or angel funds or social impact funds come into this category. So any investments which comes as a pre-seed or seed round will come through category 1 AIFs. So I could put it this way, that the areas where government focuses the investors, or the government wants the investors to put in money, comes under category 1. To say SIDBI's venture fund is a category 1 AIF. Maharashtra SME fund is again a Cat 1 AIF, category 1 AIF. So this is about the small companies or companies which are not that mature to go for a public issue or another round of funding. Category 2 AIFs are bigger mature company, like mature funds with a big fund corpus, and generally private equity funds, family office funds, and other big funds which are not acting as an angel fund comes under category 2. And generally debt funds or infrastructure funds also come under category 2. And so the third category is for the ultra HNIs and big investors who have a bigger risk appetite. And generally category 3 is open to invest in everything, but generally category 3 funds are hedge funds or the funds which invest in listed securities or derivatives or FNO. So these are the 3 broad categories of AIF. Now coming to how the AIF functions. So basically what happens is, once the sponsor and the investors are finalized, so we submit an application. The sponsor and the investment manager submits an application to SEBI, irrespective of whether the funds have come or not. Only soft commitments are required in the initial phase. So after SEBI in principle approves the AIF, there is a period given of 1 year, which can be extended to 1 more year, to bring in the investment. So the minimum investment or corpus for all 3 category of AIF is 20 crores. So minimum investment which we need to bring in is 20 crores through various investors. And SEBI has also ensured that the promoter or the sponsor of this fund has a skin in the game, and that continues till the life of the fund. So SEBI has mandated that the sponsor has to bring in 2.5% of the whole corpus, or 5 crores, whichever is lower. Like if we float a fund of say 20 crores, then the sponsor has to bring in 50 lakhs from his own money in the fund as an investment. So his skin in the game always remains there. So this is the structure, how it functions. Yes. In category 1 and 2, the minimum commitment from sponsor is 2.5%, while in category 3 it is 5% or 10 crores from the sponsor. The corpus, the whole corpus of AIF, say roughly it is 20 crores or anything beyond 20 crores. So out of this, category 1 and 2 can invest maximum 25% in a single target company, while category 3 can only invest 10%. So if like looking to the current scenario, if any family office or if any of your large investors prefer to come up with a AIF, then it is suggested to create a category 2 AIF, because they have a larger limit to invest in a single entity rather than going in a category 3 AIF. Yes. Then the life of AIF. So AIF has an undefined life per se. It is on the sponsor and investment management committee to decide that the theme and the strategy of their entry and exit. So at the time of application to SEBI, they can define that the life is say 10 years. then they need to plan in that way that whatever investments they do, whether 1 cycle or 2 cycle, then it comes out at the end of 9th year, and the last year is to distribute the funds. Coming to taxation part, so category 1 and 2 enjoys pass-through taxation. Pass-through taxation, where the capital gains, the difference in NAV is directly passed on to the investors, and it is not taxed to the AIF. While category 3 being a very professionally managed AIF, the taxation is on the AIF at the enabling tax rates. I think it is 30% right now. So, so that is about taxation. And yes, so I come to compliance. So on compliance, there's a half-yearly reporting which is made to SEBI, a valuation report accompanied by the existing NAV for category 1 and 2 funds is done every half year and submitted to SEBI along with other compliance report, and an annual compliance report is also sent to SEBI. While for category 3, every quarterly reports are sent to the investors as well as SEBI, and monthly NAV exercise is to be undertaken by the valuer appointed by AIF. And coming to the fees part, so now the investment manager, being a professional, can charge fees, investment management fees. Say the upper limit given in the regulations is 2% of the corpus, while they can also provide a hurdle rate, a minimum return which will be generated by AIF, and over and above this hurdle rate, a profit sharing model can also be designed. So what generally happens in current scenario is 14 or 15% is kept as a hurdle rate by the investment manager, and apart from 2% annual fees, they charge a 20% profit sharing beyond 14 or 15%. Whatever profit is generated beyond 14 or 15%, a 20 or 30% profit sharing is done by the portfolio manager or investment manager. So this is the whole basic structure of AIF. If any member has any questions, then I'm happy to answer on this.
We are taking at the end all the questions from the members. It will be good for they will asking at the end. Okay, Rishi?
Sure.
But yes, I'm sure that this much detailed explanation have benefited all of them at a stretch. Now coming to Chintan Bhai, since we know you said that Kaka Industries is a closely held company, yes, and even promoter and all the employees over there were not keen to bring that IPO, and you have to take a lot of thing on that part. And I'm sure कि जितने लोग भी यहाँ पे बैठे हैं, सबके क्लाइंट ने कभी तो पूछा ही होगा कि सर हम IPO का प्लानिंग कर रहे हैं. Am I right or wrong? And when we are planning for IPO, any client is planning for IPO, then when IPO comes, then there is always a transition phase that we know. That transition phase is very much serious because पहले मुझे जॉब किसी को नहीं देना था, but now there is a embedded trust and worthiness. अगर आज मैं कोई भी listed company की बात करूँ, any group to whom we trust blindly, may I tell the name Tata, सबके दिमाग में आता है, तो such a trust is already to be built for the benefit of the client. So what is your view on that, please?
Investor relationship after the listing is very crucial, and to comply with, we have developed a theme in our mind that we have to deliver the financial reporting accurate and timely. The accurate means there is a auditor, वो always accurate होगा ही, but accurate here means कि आपको detailed explanation देना है कि क्या हो रहा है, मतलब आपके क्वार्टर ऑन क्वार्टर, ईयर ऑन ईयर आपके जो वेरिएंसीज है उसको आप कैसे रिप्लाई कर रहे हो, आप कैसे कंप्लाई कर रहे हो, आप इन्वेस्टर को कैसे सेटिस्फाई कर रहे हो, तो दैट इज़ एक्यूरेट. एंड टाइमली मीन्स जो गाइडलाइन है, विद इन दैट गाइडलाइन यू इफ़ यू आर डिस्क्लोजिंग योर और ये पब्लिशिंग योर अकाउंट्स, then it is showing that you are committed to the compliance. तो एक ये पार्ट है. सेकेंड, क्लियर एंड you can say constant communication. I mean, clear means आप jargons यूज़ नहीं करना है आपको, मतलब क्लियर आपको डिस्क्लोजर्स देने हैं, क्लियर कम्युनिकेशन करना है जैसे सामने वालों को ईजी लैंग्वेज में समझ में आए. देन कंसिस्टेंट कम्युनिकेशन मीन्स आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में जो भी कुछ हो रहा है, जो भी की इन्फॉर्मेशन है, यू हैव टू पास ऑन थ्रू प्रेस रिलीज आफ्टर द क्वार्टरली रिजल्ट और हाफ ईयरली रिजल्ट थ्रू कॉन्फ्रेंस कॉल. आपको एनुअल रिपोर्ट में इंफॉर्मेशन देना है. तो इफ़ यू आर कीन ऑन दिस पार्ट. एंड थर्ड वन इज़ कॉरपोरेट गवर्नेंस. जो भी कॉरपोरेट गवर्नेंस डिसाइड किए हुए हैं सेबी ने, एक्सचेंजेस ने, आप अगर वो फॉलो कर रहे हो, देन आई मीन ट्रस्ट कैन बी बिल्ट. आई थिंक यहीं से शुरुआत होती है कि आप ये पार्ट्स कैसे आप परफॉर्म कर रहे हो एज अ कंपनी, और आप इन्वेस्टर को टाइमली और प्रोएक्टिवली कैसे रिप्लाईज दे रहे हो. बिकॉज हमने ये 1.5 ईयर में ईच एंड एवरी इन्वेस्टर वी हैव मेट, हमने किसी को ना नहीं बोला है मिलने के लिए, हमने हमारा प्लांट विजिट करवाया है. तो वहाँ से एक ट्रस्ट बिल्ट होता है और क्लियर गाइडेंस मिलता है कि कंपनी इज़ ऑन पाथ ऑन ग्रोथ. कि समझो कभी नंबर्स नहीं आते तो आपको एक्सप्लेनेशन ईजिली आप यू कैन गिव द इन्फॉर्मेशन कि नंबर्स क्यों नहीं परफॉर्म हो रहे हैं. या तो आपने जो कमिटमेंट दिया था, या कमिटमेंट मीन्स कोई नंबर्स कमिट नहीं करना होता है बट गाइडेंस देना होता है. इफ़ यू आर नॉट ऑन द पाथ ऑफ दैट गाइडेंस, आप मतलब आप एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हो कौन सा सिचुएशन है, तो इन्वेस्टर कैन ईजिली डाइजेस्ट एंड वी कैन मूव ऑन. यस.
So, like in this discussion, there's also a key question for all of us, like which IPO should be applied. So, I'm sure यहाँ पे अपने audience में कितने लोग IPOs apply करते हैं, main board या SME IPOs. If you can raise your hands and show. सभी IPO apply करते हैं. अभी तो जैसे IPO season चल रहा है. Last week भी there were so many IPOs. And right now in next week also there are so many IPOs going on, and you see like many SME IPOs they open at a very high price than the issue price. So अभी जैसे एक लॉ भी है सेबी का जो रेस्ट्रिक्ट करता है कि एक न्यू SME कंपनी का IPO के लिस्टिंग डे के दिन उसका प्राइस 90% तक ही ऊपर जा सकता है डे 1 पे. तो अभी भी लास्ट वीक में देयर वर फ्यू कंपनीज, यश हाई वोल्टेज में वाइफ को ही IPO लगा था, तो इट ओपनड एट 90% अपर सर्किट ऑन डे 1. सो बेसिकली इट इज़ अ मैटर ऑफ प्राइस एंड डिमांड एंड सप्लाई. सो फ्रॉम CA point of view, we have a lot of CAs in our audience today, and all the CAs are also applying the IPOs and their clients are also applying the IPOs. So as a CA, if you both can share, like what are the key parameters as a CA we should evaluate, and like if we want to provide this IPO advisory services to our client, okay, whether this IPO should be applied or not, and or if I receive a call from my client whether this IPO is ongoing, should I apply? So as a CA, what are the key parameters in the new IPOs which I can read and understand and evaluate and then make a informed decision, yes, and then tell my client, yes, this IPO can be applied or this IPO should be skipped. So what are the key parameters that should be looked in evaluation of the IPO from investor point of view, if you both can share, starting with Chintan bhai?
So many Mercury investor already told कि you bet on jockey, right? तो अब प्रमोटर को आप ऑलवेज फॉलो करो. मतलब प्रमोटर का क्या बैकग्राउंड है, उनका DRHP मतलब बुक है बड़ा, बट उसमें आप 2-3 चैप्टर अगर रीड करते हो, जैसे रिस्क वाला चैप्टर आप ले सकते हैं. देन केस लॉज ऑन दी कंपनी एंड ऑन दी प्रमोटर्स, प्रमोटर की और कौन सी इंटरेस्ट है, ये 3-4 चीज़ अगर आप देखोगे तो बाय गोइंग थ्रू द DRHP यू कैन हैव अ फेयर आइडिया कि क्या हो सकता है. एंड बाय नॉट गोइंग थ्रू दी सब्सक्रिप्शन ओनली और GMP, बट आप ये एज अ CA आप ऑलवेज यू कैन एक्सेस दिस डेटा इन DRHP. तो इतना आप करेंगे तो भी आपको एक फेयर आइडिया आ जाता है.
Thank you, Chintan bhai. So Chintan bhai already spoke about 2 of the points which I had in my mind, but taking over from there. So one thing we can always check is cash flow, because need not to say all of you are chartered accountants and the thing which you do day in and day out, but cash flow gives us a very fair idea. So as a merchant banker, what we have observed is that lot of companies don't show actual cash flows, and they show a very good PAT. So this is where we catch the mischiefs made in the financial statements. So cash flow is a very good parameter for all of us to check whether actual cash is coming in the company or it is. So I would not name the company, but recently one IPO came where the receivables of the company were 40 crores and the turnover was 45 crores. For prolonged for 2 years, the amount was same. So this clearly shows that these are mere book entries and not actual cash coming in the company. One more thing which we can see, as I already said, was that use of proceeds. So there is a separate chapter in the prospectus for this, that where the company is going to use these funds. So as a professional, we can always, as a logical parameter, we can always assess that is the proportion given in the books, in the prospectus by the company to use the funds is accurate or not. Because looking to the books, we can assess that whether they need working capital. We can also assess that whether a new capex coming in will actually help the company grow. Because if the company is in such a segment where adding more machines, or if the current capacity is not utilized and they are going to make more capex, then it makes no sense. So such parameters can be always caught from the use of proceeds. One more thing we can always look is skin in the game for the promoters. So if we see Paytm's IPO, then Vijay Shekhar Sharma already diluted, I think 50% during before the IPO, and during the IPO he diluted more. So currently I don't know, or I don't think he holds any material stake in the company. So we need to check whether the promoter, who is the founder, or as Chintan bhai well said, the betting on the jockey. So jockey actually holds stake post the IPO or not. Ideally, what we prefer, that promoter should hold beyond 60% at any given point of time, which gives a lot of confidence to any big investors. Like we have been in touch with a lot of funds. Recently, we were in touch with a fund called ARC Impact Investment. It is a Korean fund. So we had a lot of discussions with them. So even their internal parameter permits them investment only if the promoter holdings post dilution is nearly 60%. So these are the parameters. And yes, one more thing major we can check is the board composition. If so what generally happens during current SME IPOs is any small or junior professional is put in board as an independent director just to complete the SEBI ICDR formalities. But this is not the way, or this is not the intent what the law wants. So the director profiles are also given in the DRHP. So one should always look at how strong the board is to guard this. Because what happens if it is a one-man show, the main promoter is there and others are just for the namesake. If something happens to the promoter, then company will go into losses. So this is one more point which anyone can check from the DRHP. I think these are the points which any investor can, or us as a professional can guide to the clients.
So basically, as they both said, like we should not go only by the grey market premium, which is like available on WhatsApp or on online websites. But as a CA, it is our responsibility to go deeper, read the DRHP, take the effort to download the DRHP. It might be 200-300 page profile, but the key parameters to look into are the promoter profile, the board of directors profile, the usage of the IPO proceeds, whether it is being used for repaying old debts or for scaling up the facility. So, and again, the cash flow statement should be analyzed, whether it is only the PAT is showing high figure, or actual cash flow from operations is also, it is like that PAT is also getting converted into the actual cash flow from operations. So these things can give us an idea about the actual fundamentals of the company, and then we can take an informed decision about applying in the IPO. So, yes, yeah.
Coming back to Chintan bhai, how many of you from here are from industries? Capital market तो होंगे? Very few. Great. Even we have a concept of a virtual CFO now that we know, and even a CFO. So Chintan bhai, from being a CA at a young age to CFO of a listed company, how was your experience? And even many person, even sometimes that we notice right now, that after having an ample experience, being a practicing professional, even people go to do a job and even becoming a CFO of such a large company. Can you please guide on that part, your experience and all these stuffs?
So as a CA, a CFO, we have important role to the CEO if it is there, he is there, or to the board also, because we are good at numbers, right? And we can be a partner in a strategic planning, like because what we have thought or we have learnt is not enough for being a CFO or to be in a part of industry, because you have to have a 360-degree view of the all the parameters, all the parts of the organization. Like you can say a strategic partner, like फंड आपको कहाँ पार्क करना है, मतलब हाई ग्रोथ जो प्रोडक्ट है वहाँ पे पार्क करना है, हाई प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी जहाँ पे वहाँ पे आपको पार्क करवाना है. आप अगर इफ़ यू नो दी प्रोस्पेक्ट ऑफ दी योर कंपनीज प्रोडक्ट, देन यू कैन फाइंड दी यू कैन हेल्प the promoters for the mergers, acquisitions and joint ventures. Then आपके पास जो फंड है वो लॉन्ग टर्म विज़न के साथ कहाँ अलाइन कर सकते हैं, वो आप हेल्प कर सकते हैं. सो लाइक ये आपका रोल, मेन रोल रहेगा स्ट्रेटेजिक प्लानिंग. सेकंड है आपका कॉस्टिंग पार्ट एंड फाइनेंशियल पार्ट. लाइक छोटी कंपनी में बजट वो सब कोई जानता नहीं है, बट इफ़ यू कैन फोर्स और आप अगर मना सकते हो प्रमोटर्स को कि आप बजट बना सकते हो, तो आप बजट करके उसके साथ एक्चुअल प्लानिंग के साथ आप वेरिएंसेस ढूंढ के उनको गाइड कर सकते हो वेयर द कंपनी इज़ गोइंग. उसके लिए इंटरनल कंट्रोल बना सकते हैं. आप SAP ERP जैसे इम्प्लीमेंट करके उसको कॉस्टिंग में हेल्प कर सकते हैं. तो एज अ CFO वी कैन डू ऑल दिस थिंग. लाइक और क्राइसिस मैनेजमेंट, जैसे कोविड सिचुएशन था या रेगुलेटरी कुछ चेंज होता है, तो वहाँ पे आप कैसे हेल्प कर सकते हो प्रमोटर को. तो एज अ CFO ड्यूल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी में आप ये हेल्प कर सकते हैं प्रमोटर को.
Over to you.
So again, question to Mr. Richi Shah. So like being an individual investor, sometimes there are some limitations, like specifically talking about IPOs, in recent days the subscription is multiple times. So is there any advantage that is available to AIF in tapping opportunities in the primary markets? Like how can AIF as a tool be used to invest, and does it have any edge over individual or HNI investors? And what is, again, adding second question to this, what is the merchant banker's role also in this AIF ecosystem?
Okay, so coming to the first question, yes, AIFs do have an edge in application. So generally IPOs do have a special reservation for QIBs, that is qualified institutional buyers, and out of this quota at least 60% is allocated to anchor investors. So an anchor investor is an QIB which includes an AIF, which makes an application of at least 1 crores in an SME and 10 crores in a main board IPO. So anchor investors are the investors who get a confirm allotment. There is no oversubscription in this quota. The anchor book or the anchor bidding is done one day prior to the opening of the main dates which are kept for the other investors. So definitely I would agree that planning for an AIF for our clients would be very much beneficial if clients are planning to invest in primary markets and they are planning to have a confirm allotment, or they are targeting some company to invest or some sector specific to invest. Then in such cases AIF would definitely help in getting a confirm allotment.
Yeah, so as you said, AIF can be used as an investment tool, but being individuals, there were some restrictions also on coming up with the AIF. As you said, for AIF has to have a minimum starting investment of 20 crore. So not everyone can have their own AIF. But are there any AIFs in the market which are available wherein the ticket size you said is 1 crore? So maybe a few individuals can come together and they can invest in a AIF which further invest in IPO anchor opportunities.
Yes, so there are a lot of professionally managed AIFs in Ahmedabad also. I know 7 or 10 of them. One of them which I know is Chanakya Funds. So there are a lot of them, but this is one because My personal clients have invested funds in this fund. So definitely, in fact, all the AIFs are professionally managed. So we can get the list from SEBI. We can directly connect them, and if you personally want to, or your client wants to invest, then they can definitely invest in this professionally managed AIF. In fact, what we did was we incorporated an SPV. So my clients did not have like single ticket size was 1 crore, but so we brought in 2 individuals with 50 lakhs each. We invested in an SPV, and that SPV was made part of the AIF. So this is also planning we can always do.
So even if you don't have 1 crore to invest in AIF, a SPV route can be used, wherein a few individuals can come together, form a SPV, invest in the SPV, and then the SPV further invest in the AIF as a single individual. That's how you can 1 crore ticket size can be reached. And also, if you can share about the liquidity in AIFs, I guess the tenure and the liquidity which is available for the investors.
So coming to liquidity, so minimum life of AIF has to be 3 years. The life cannot be shorter than 3 years. So SEBI expects the investor who are coming in invest the extra or excess funds in AIF. They are not in hurry to take out the fund like we always as a retail investor do in IPOs or in mutual funds. Also, there is an option to withdraw on the same day at the present NAV. But yes, so there is no bar in withdrawing the funds invested in AIF. It all depends on the investment manager whom you choose. So it is the investment manager who has to provide a specific or a strong reason to the whole investment management committee as well as the trustee and SEBI. He has to convince them why this person needs to exit. And apart from this, he is the one who needs to fill the gap. So if the investment manager is capable to bring in some new investor, your units will be directly sold to him in the secondary market. So exit is not barred, but yes, it is definitely difficult because you commit the funds for a given period of time.
So essentially, at the starting of the investment, the investor has to be sure of the time period. Like
he'll not need that funds for a longer time.
Yeah,
he has to be sure.
His time horizon should be aligned with the horizon of the fund. Otherwise, before that, if there are exit loads or if the exit load is not there, then he'll have to ask the fund to find a secondary buyer, another buyer to sell to for in the secondary,
because his investment is already parked. I'll also brief for one more thing. So it is not that you need to invest the whole committed funds in a single go. If the fund size is say 20 crores and if you are investing 1 crore, then it is not necessary you need to invest the whole 1 crore in a single check. So it is the fund manager who will decide the parts of investment. Like if he has an investment opportunity of say 5 crores, then he'll only ask for 25% of your commitment at this time. When he comes up with another opportunity and it requires say 50% or 10 crores of your corpus, then he'll ask for another 50%. So he'll ask in parts. It is not that you need to give the whole committed amount in a single check. So there is also where your liquidity will not be stuck, I would say.
Okay.
So sir,
बस एक समरी जैसा बोल के फिर ओपन कर दें.
No sir. So there is a committee. There is an investment management committee consisting of professionals who are distinguished in finance. So majorly chartered accountants are part of those committees, and they also need to clear one exam through SEBI. So that is one part. And so there is always a distinguished, or there is a norm given in the SEBI that we cannot park more than 25% of the total corpus in a single entity. And the theme is always decided. Like if we talk about one of my colleagues who is running a fund called Artha 99, A99. So it's a category 1 fund. So he has invested in 10 startups. So the theme is fixed, startup, example. Out of this startup, then he needs to choose the company where he cannot park more than say 25% for category 1 and 2. In category 3, the upper limit for single investment is only 10%. So there is no possibility where discrimination can be made. And he also needs to, like a judge who is passing an order, he needs to write down, he needs to prove to the investors that why he chose this company to invest. A justification is given, and if the investors are not convinced, then they can definitely oppose this investment and they can stop the investment. So it is always the investor's right over the investment.
Okay. So today in this session, basically we have learned a lot about AIFs, what are the categories of AIF, how they are structured, what is their risk, and like taxation, liquidity. If you can, Richie, you can throw some more light on the returns part of the AIFs. Like what, as you said, like the AIFs has a theme, so the returns would depend on the theme. But like, what are the right now in the Indian AIF ecosystem? What are the like popular AIF themes which are going on, and what kind of returns investors can expect in those themes?
So I would say since past 3 years, the startup and angel theme was a very hot topic and discussed across the AIF or VC fraternity. But since past 6 or 8 months, what we are witnessing is category 2 AIFs are coming more into picture, because the investors don't prefer to lose their money in startups. So what has started happening is startup ecosystem has taken for granted the AIFs and VC fraternity that हमें कहीं ना कहीं से pre-seed or seed round मिल जाएगा and our show will run, even if they don't have a very great idea or a good idea. And ultimately AIFs have started losing money. So at the end of third or fourth year, when the results come into play after say 3 years or so, so the AIF or fund managers have analyzed that startups don't give much return, but category 2 AIFs which invest in mature companies or category 3 AIFs. So as the category enhances, category 1 has a more I would say scope to generate returns, because it's a company, so it can be a hero or a zero, either ways. As you move to the higher category 2, it's a more of a matured company, so it is directly related to the growth percentage made by the investee companies. If the average growth rate of all the 5 or 10 investee companies say 15 or 20%, your NAV grows at that rate. And on escalating to the third category, so third category is always risky, so it is directly linked to the market. If we are investing in hedge funds or say derivatives, then we cannot commit any specific returns, but yes, definitely. So this I would say this online with I just forgot the name, algo trading. So algo trading has convinced the third category fund managers that they can at least earn say index return which is 15-17%. So this is what they commit in the AIFs. But I don't feel that category 3 can commit. So it is only category 2 which I feel that it is a safe, because the investments made are into mature companies which generally generate more alpha than the market.
Great, Richie. Coming back to Chintan bhai. Chintan ભાઈ, એક તો બધા અહીંયા ગુજરાતી છે, સમજો અમદાવાદના છે, શનિવાર અહીંયા બેઠા છે સવારથી, તો એમને એક વસ્તુ હોય કે કાકા ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રી 6 ટાઈમ થયું છે. વોટ ઓલ ધ CA કેન એક્સપેક્ટ even in future from Kaka?
We have, installed capacity is increased from, 2.5 times we have increased the capacity. So market, overall market is very good, because सिर्फ गुजरात में 60% सेल्स है हमारा, और आउट ऑफ गुजरात बहुत सारा अवेयरनेस बाकी है, रीच बाकी है, और डिमांड इतना अच्छा है कि बिकॉज बेसिकली काका का बैकग्राउंड दे रहा हूँ कि वी आर इनटू मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ऑफ PVC प्रोफाइल्स, PVC, UPVC एंड WPC प्रोफाइल. पहले क्या होता था कि आप सिर्फ बाथरूम डोर देखते थे प्लास्टिक के, PVC के. नाउ इट हैज़ शिफ्टेड टू PVC फर्नीचर्स. तो टर्माइट प्रूफ है, वाटर प्रूफ है. आप WPC जो सॉलिड शीट रहता है, होलो PVC, UPVC विंडो में आप देखोगे तो बहुत सारी कंपनीज UPVC विंडो में आ रही है. तो मार्केट बहुत छोटा है, और अभी अवेयरनेस बहुत पेंडिंग है पूरे पैन इंडिया लेवल पे. और मतलब वुड का पूरा रिप्लेसमेंट हो सकता है. आप सोफ़ा और बेड के अलावा सब कुछ बना सकते हो PVC फर्नीचर में. तो मार्केट इज़ ट्रिमेंडस, तो ग्रोथ अलाइन करेगा उसको.
Yeah, so we have learned a lot today relating to AIFs, how a CA CFO can play a role in helping the company come up with the IPO, helping the promoters, drafting their vision of IPO, and how the transparency responsibility increases after coming out with the IPO. What is the role of the merchant banker in the IPO market? So if any of our members have any questions to our faculty, we can have it now. Yeah. So the eligibility for a SME IPO.
So, sir, there are different criteria prescribed by both the exchanges. So recently, before 2 days, SEBI's board meeting was held, wherein SEBI has decided to keep a parameter, a common parameter for every company coming for an SME IPO is they need to have an EBITDA of 1 crores for 2 out of 3 previous years. So there is one more interpretation coming in that this also provides that the company has to be in existence for 2 years. Till now, both the exchanges used to write in their criteria that the entity or issuer, means the company, or if it was a partnership firm converted into a company, then they were also eligible. But now the wordings of SEBI circular says that the issuer needs to have a track record of with EBITDA of 1 crore for 2 out of 3 years. This means that if you are converting a partnership, then it has to complete 2 full financial years. 2 March has to go, full financial year has to go with an EBITDA of 1 crores, and only then they will be eligible to bring the SME. So this is a big change which is not yet clarified by SEBI. This is just announced in the outcome of the SEBI's meeting. We are also awaiting what it gives the clarification in a detailed note or make changes in the ICDR regulations. But this is one parameter or one I would say requirement for bringing an SME for both the exchanges. So for NSE there is a single parameter. So the company needs to have EBITDA, which SEBI has already covered in this, and there should be free cash flows to equity shareholders in past 2 years. So they need to have a PAT. So this is the primary requirement for NSE. And for BSE, they have 3 parameters. So one is net worth. They need to have, the company or the issuer needs to have net worth of minimum 1 crore for past 2 out of 3 years. They need to have net tangible assets of 3 crores at the time of IPO. So in net tangible assets, there is not there is no requirement to have it for constant 2 previous years. At the time of IPO, if in the latest previous financial year, if the company has a net tangible assets of 3 crores, it is more than sufficient. And the third parameter here in BSE also is to bring in EBITDA, positive EBITDA for 2 out of 3 previous years. So these are the basic parameters. Apart from this, all the common parameters, like there should be no serious litigation going on, or the company should not be in NCLT for bankruptcy. The promoter should not be debarred from the capital market by SEBI. So, and any other material, criminal or civil litigation which would hinder the affairs of the company if the promoters are taken out for a litigation. So such litigations, if the company is facing, then they are not eligible for the IPO. So these are the basic conditions.
Yeah. So no criteria on the turnover part.
No.
It's on the PAT net worth.
Yes. So as I said, SEBI and authorities always focus on last में क्या बच रहा है equity shareholders के लिए. So their concern is only that if you are not having a huge turnover but you are having a very good profit margin, then SEBI and NSE or BSE is very happy. You come on board and you list yourself.
Yeah. Any other questions, members? Yeah. If we can take you first.
Yes.
So I'll just repeat his question so that it's audible to the entire audience. He's asking what is the eligibility criteria for SME IPO, SME company, listed a company to migrate to the main board?
Yes. So both the exchanges again have their own internal criteria. So the basic parameter which they seek is, one is paid up capital. So your paid up capital should go beyond 25 crores when you are trying to shift or migrate yourself on main board. Another is your market capitalization. So market cap should be beyond 75 crores, and at least 3 years track record should be there on the SME exchange. These are the basic parameters for migrating an SME company on main board. No, then the profitability criteria is not there. But when you are when you are listed on an SME, then the performance is inbound to be there, except any losses, because they have put in criteria for paid up capital. So your paid up capital will only increase if you are doing good business, if you are bringing in new money. Then so this is, and also they have put a parameter for net market capitalization. So it is directly linked to your price, and your price will only increase if you are showing good performance. No. That is not applicable for migrating company from SME to main board. So yes, so for directly going to main board, there is again a criteria given by SEBI here. So SEBI requires that you should have an EBITDA of at least 15 crores for immediately 3 previous years. So this is one parameter. Another parameter is with respect to net worth. They need a net worth of 3 crores and net tangible assets of 5 crores. So we would always be surprised that how do Zomato and Paytm list on main board. So there is another condition given by SEBI that if you are not a cash generating company, if you are a loss making company, then you need to park at least 75% of the IPO size with the QIB. That is the fixed or big investors who have a risk appetite. You cannot go to retail and ask that, okay, give me money, I am a loss making company. No. So if you check the basis of allotment or the offer document made by Paytm or Zomato, they have at least 75% of the issue size is allocated to QIBs. Yes.
Yeah, so due to limitation of time, we would be able to take only 2 more questions. Success ratio of SME
Success
IPOs.
ratio is a very difficult question, but in my opinion, it won't be more than 40-50%. What I have seen in the market. So currently also 40 to 50% of IPOs which are listed are bogus.
So
Yes,
basically,
to be
you
honest.
need to be cautious with investing. Like after listing, it is not that the companies will flourish after 3 years, 4 years. You might find that the company has not showed the performance or adhered to the guidance that given during the IPOs. So in the SME market, since the company size is small, you need to be cautious. Even after the merchant banker has done the due diligence, they might be
So
involved with the company.
currently 8, so you would be surprised, the latest data which shows that 8 merchant bankers in SME are currently facing litigations from SEBI only because they did not carry out proper due diligence. यहाँ तक लैप्स है कि they don't even go and visit the factory, take photos. So SEBI has now given an internal guideline to every merchant banker that you need to visit, you need to do a geo tagging कि आप वहाँ पे कितने बजे गए थे, टाइम स्टैम्प के साथ आपको उनको फोटो शेयर करना है. और अभी फर्स्ट जैन से ये भी SEBI ने हमारे लिए मैंडेटरी किया है कि at the time of IPO, whatever documents you collect from client as a due diligence part, you need to upload in our drive. So SEBI has given an access to cloud managed by SEBI. We as a merchant banker need to put all the document stuff in that drive, and SEBI can check them anytime कि आपने proper DD किया है कि नहीं किया है.
We have a fantastic example of a Yamaha of Delhi. Yeah, we all remember कि कितने times वो subscribe हुआ था.
Yes.
Oversubscribe, I would say.
Yes.
And company की हालत क्या थी. So it's most important, mostly we used to check about the चित्तौड़गढ़ all the companies हम देखते हैं कि जहाँ पे हम grey market का GMP देख के हम खुश होते हैं. But actually the base of any company, because now it's actual time to be cautious for the investors. And being a CA fraternity, many investors, many clients even believes on us. So it's even our duty that we guide properly. It will be helpful to all of us.
And SEBI, so I would actually tell one thing, that SEBI is actually working very hard, because we have been interacting with SEBI often. So SEBI internally keeps on iterating the SME norms and models very often, say on a yearly basis. So they are trying to keep us safe, but it is always our duty to make our primary due diligence before investing.
Great, sir. Last question, sir. You are? Yes, sir.
Yes. So what GIFT City has done is they have combined all the authority and powers of SEBI, RBI, and other individual authorities into GIFT. So when we are making an application for a GIFT AIF, then the ticket size is larger. It is, I think, 5 lakh USD is the minimum ticket size, or it is the minimum corpus size, which here in India or out of GIFT City is 20 crores. And yes, there is a taxation benefit. So there are two types of GIFT AIFs. One is inbound and one is outbound. In inbound, you can invest in India. In outbound, the investors are from India and you invest outside India.
Last question now, please.
Please. Agreed. Agreed. So currently also it is the case where exchanges are authorized to approve the IPO. But what SEBI wanted is that they wanted to take an average of say 4 or 5 years. So they kept on scrutinizing the approvals given by the NSE and as sir very well asked, that what is the success ratio. So SEBI also internally scrutinized that what is the success or good company ratio compared to bad company ratio. And when they felt that it is going beyond 50%, they thought that okay, it is right time to now like for them to enter and create stricter regulations which can regulate the exchange as well as the merchant bankers, as well as they can also show the companies coming in that okay, now we are also going to scrutinize you from back end.
Sir, we can take the other questions please later if possible, because sir, many people are waiting for us and even next faculty is waiting for us, sir. We are already getting late. Sorry sir for that thing.
Preferred, I would say there is no such bifurcation, honestly. Both the exchanges have their own fortes. So BSE is the oldest exchange with most of the brokers connected. NSE is the exchange with highest turnover. I don't think we can judge. So it is always preference by the promoter. In fact, you also have an option to list on both the SME exchanges, but no promoter does this.
Now only last question, sir, please. Last question.
Sir, typical formation. Okay, sorry, I noted this point.
Yeah.
Yes, but I did not talk about it. So SEBI's fees for all three AIF categories are different. Cat 1 AIF is 5 lakhs, Cat 2 AIF is 10 lakhs, and Cat 3 AIF is 15 lakhs. These are SEBI fees. So other intermediaries include trustee. So trustees generally charge a fees between 1.5 to 2 lakhs, and on a yearly basis to act as a trustee. Recently, just past I think 6 or 8 months, SEBI has mandated every AIF to make the units dematerialized. So like private companies also, AIF are required to have an ISIN and go through that rigorous process. So that new cost is also added, which comes to approx 50,000 for any AIF. And so I think a Cat 1 or 2 AIF can be incorporated under 18 lakhs, all inclusive. So there is a law firm also. So okay, I did not answer the second question asked. So what is the role of merchant banker? So what happens is, what is the typical process? Once the sponsor finalizes, he wants to have a theme for AIF, he approaches a merchant banker. So merchant banker hires a law firm. A law firm would draft the whole memorandum. It is called PPM, private placement memorandum, or an offer document on which you will pitch the investors to come in. So that PPM is vetted and certified by merchant banker and then submitted to SEBI for their permission. Okay, that we have formed this PPM and please give us the permission to run the AIF. So merchant banker fees are also there. Law firm fees are there. RTA and depository fees are there. Trustee fees are there, and SEBI fees are there.
Great, Richie, great. Only.
No. It would be around, for category 1 and 2, it would not be more than 20 lakhs. 3, it would, yes. It would reach to 30.
Last question from that, ma'am. Please, ma'am.
Yes. So, your ma'am question is very correct. So, one of the requirements of BSc is that if you don't have an experience of say 2 or 3 years, if you are given a loan by the bank, you are eligible to bring the IPO because bank has vetted your documents and they have given you the funds. But so when I look at any proposal which is not being financed by bank, I would rather not look into the ratios, but I would look into the speciality. So we are working with a company in Pune. So it is a innovation. It is a startup. So what they have invented is there are 5 doctors who have come together and they have tried to prepare or create a duplicate human body. Because what happens is when the students want to learn, they need a human body, a dead body to learn the operation and everything. So there is a huge shortage because there are not a lot of bodies available. So they have attempted to create a duplicate human body. You can make the cuts, you can do the operation, you can learn the operation, press the reset button, the body becomes as it was. It is a new fresh body. So this is a startup. So now I need to take a call. They don't have any revenue, they don't have any profit, but still we talked with a lot of AIFs and everyone is ready to invest. So I would suggest that it is case to case. It is the merchant banker or you as a professional who needs to take a call that whether this thing can make a boom in the market or not. Yes. So you need to understand the idea. So when promoter comes to you, he is helpless. Like promoters like of these companies, these are the doctors. When they were not responded properly by the bank, they came to us. We understood the whole concept. There are only 2 companies in whole world doing this kind of project, and I don't know, none of them has succeeded. They have succeeded. So we look like we feel that there is a huge demand. So it is case specific. A professional or a merchant banker needs to judge that what future this company is bringing with, and on the basis of that they can take up the assignment for funding or IPO.
Thank you, Rishi ji. Friends, topic for today in panel discussion: IPO, fundraising, AIF, and primary market. Both the panelists, Chintan Budarji and Rishi Shah, have given the insight, a helpful insight, I would say, and a detailed working how a person can create an AIF, how it can be helpful to us, and many more things. Same way, how the CA can play a major role and how insightful it can be. When any new SMA is coming, what is the transition phase of that and all these stuffs. I even thanks my co-moderator, Adarsh Devraji, who helped me with this, and thank you all for your participation. Now I request Tanuj to please take over the next session. Thank you all for your support. There is a last session pending, so requesting to please sit over here. Thank you.